Welcome to Global Village. We are airing today from Medicine Hat, the gas city in southeastern of Alberta. We are very honored to have a Teresa Di Ninno, and also we have Mr. Shariq Ahmed. He's a student of the school. Welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Yeah, you tell us a little bit about your background.
My background. I'm an immigrant.
Very,
Came into Canada when I was in my early teens. I immigrated from Italy with my mother to join my father.
good.
Um, I first moved to Quebec and lived in Montreal for about 10 years, and then married and moved to Toronto, and gradually made my way to Alberta. Came into Alberta in the summer of '79, and I've been here ever since.
Wow. So not only us are immigrants, she was immigrant sometime.
Yep,
That's very good. So then you moved to Alberta.
right.
That okay? So you have all your family in Alberta then?
No, just myself and my husband right now.
Oh,
All the
okay,
children were raised in Alberta, but they're in BC, and
all
three
over.
of them are in BC, one of them is in Calgary. But the rest of the family is back in Montreal or back in Italy.
Ah, so you must be then trilingual then.
I am trilingual, yes.
There you go. There you go. That's very good. What about the kids? Did they?
No, they're just English speakers. My
Wow.
husband and I made a conscious decision to make sure that they had one language in which they were proficient,
Hmm.
and then they could make their own decisions as to what else to learn.
No, that's good. So, but they do understand French and Italian.
They have had French exposure in
Mhm.
school for 9 years, 10 years, and so on. And they're exposed to some Italian as they interact with family and, the extended family, cousins, and
Wow, that's very good.
children of cousins.
Well, at least even if they don't speak the Italian, if they move their hands, that
That's right.
that is
As Italians, we do speak with
there
our
you go.
hands,
Yeah,
right?
that's the sign of the Italian.
That's
When
right.
you go to Europe, if you see the action, then you can tell who is Italian.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you see a very conservative person standing there, you know that's from Britain.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. Shariq, you want to tell us some little bit about yourself?
Um, I was born in Canada in 2004.
Wow.
Um, I've been going to Cape School for the past 7 or 8 years. Um, and I'm in grade 7 right now.
You are grade 7. Oh. So what do you like the school then?
Um, the teachers are nice and they're good teachers.
Good.
And
Your friends and all that?
yeah, I have lots of friends there.
Wow, that's very good. That's very good. Teresa, you want to tell us, touch base with the science fair that you might be that you might have?
So tomorrow is our school-wide science fair.
Yeah.
By school-wide, I mean grades 4 through 9. Today, the younger population, the K to 3s, are having what we call a science day.
Mhm.
So they have stations set up all over the school, and they do experiments and demonstrations and so on. And they have some fun learning in a very relaxed social environment. However, tomorrow the 4 to 9s go through a judging process.
Wow.
So every student participates.
Mhm.
Some students choose to do an independent project on their own, and some choose to go in pairs with a friend. So we have groups set up for judging of 5 or 6 projects. We proceed we start by actually dividing our projects into categories. So categories such as physics, chemistry, biology, life sciences, social sciences for the grades 4 through 6, and then for the 7, 8s, and 9s. And they are judged first starting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock by groups of volunteer judges from the community. Some, from industry, some from social service sector, some from education, from all over.
Wow.
So that takes place first thing in the morning, and then first, second, and third place are adjudicated. First place winners are then regrouped and rejudged for a second round. And out of that group, we determine a first, second, and third for the fair. So as a follow-through from that, then selected identified projects will be offered the opportunity to participate in the regional science fair later on in the spring.
Wow.
So it's a lot of work. It takes a considerable amount of time and effort, but the quality of the projects is always amazing, always.
So would it be like a, for example, so they have to have that project, they've been working the project the last couple of days at home?
No, everything is done in school. It's part of our science program.
Okay.
Because we have a science program that is heavily based in experiments, in experimentation, hands-on learning experiences.
So they're doing as a group?
So everybody is doing science fair and has been for at least the last month. But we begin talking about possible ideas for science fair back in September. So it's a lengthy process, right? So the identification of an idea comes first, and then learning a little bit about the topic comes second. Based on that, we then try things out to see if there's potential in the project, if it can be done. As it turns out, for example, this year there were 2 projects that just were not going to work. So we shut it down and went to something else, right? So that takes time, and it cannot be done at the last minute. Then the teachers and the students work on determining what kind of materials they'll need. Lists are generated, given to one of our assistants, who then goes shopping and orders. And when everything is delivered, then the actual experiments begin. Once the experiment is finished, then they have to determine what they've learned, what was the outcome, and they write that up in a written report format.
Wow.
Right? So that includes a cover page, may or may not include a table of contents, but always background information from the research they've done, and then a detailed description of the experiment. What was the question? What was the hypothesis? What materials were required? How was the experiment done? The data tables and graphs are absolutely necessary, or whatever type of data they collected must be displayed in there, and then conclusions drawn, possible extensions and application usefulness of the project for society as a whole, and then they always love to do that last little bit, which is thank yous.
Wow.
You know, thank mom and dad and their teachers and everyone else, and then there's a formal bibliography. So that's the written piece. Then key elements of that are put together into keynotes, and then we use our technology to present. So it's a multifaceted process that integrates pretty much everything that one needs to know to make it happen. So everything from language skills, research skills, technology skills, mathematics, graphing, averaging, recording data, measuring, the equipment in the science lab that's applicable to their work, public speaking, thinking on the spot, answering questions on the spot, extrapolating. It's a very holistic learning process.
Wow, that's very good. That's a full day then of programs.
It's a full day that is the culmination of many months of work, while we move at the same time through our regular program. So it's integrated into that.
Wow. So are you ready tomorrow then?
Yeah, I'm pretty ready. My keynote's done and my experiment's done. So.
Is this your first time you're doing it?
No, this is my second time doing science fair.
When you were 5 years? When you were grade 5?
Yeah.
It's every 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And so 1 year you do the science fair, the other year you do the heritage.
Heritage fair.
Oh, okay.
And the only difference is that the heritage fair will not have an experiment involved. So the students, they choose a particular topic. It could be a person. It could be an event in history. It could be um, a current event of some kind that is of interest to them. And then they do the research. They write the report. They produce a keynote. They present.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then, of
that's-
course, they're selected to go to the regional if they so wish. That is optional. They have a choice whether they go or not.
Okay.
But they have to be offered that opportunity before they decide.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, if they're fortunate and their work is quality work, then they can go to the national
That's
and
very-
participate in the youth. What's it called? Youth something
Oh, for the national.
for the national.
Wow, that's very good. That's an opportunity.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So we hope you win tomorrow.
Thanks.
Do you volunteer in school or any other events in Medicine Hat? You do some volunteering?
As of right now, I don't, but I'm planning to.
Do you do any volunteering in school then?
No, not yet.
Okay. Volunteering is always good. You will learn new things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you can ask your teacher and they connect you to a worthwhile volunteerism. Okay. It's always good because you learn something new, right? So what do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I probably want to be a doctor or a computer programmer, cause I'm pretty good at technology, and doctor, it kind of interests me too. So,
What kind of doctor?
probably like a family doctor, like not like hardcore doctor or anything, but just like family doctor.
Well, okay. Well, that's very good. I think that's a good ambition, being a doctor or computer programmer, right? So after they graduate grade 9, so they have a choice to go wherever whichever school they prefer.
Right. We only go up to grade 9, and therefore, if the student chooses to stay with us that long, upon leaving grade 9, they have a choice, depending on where they live, their religious beliefs, or personal choice. So some go to Hat High, some go to Crescent Heights, some will head to McCoy, and some will go to Eagle Butte. Some choose a particular school because of the size, because of the programs that they offer, particular focus of the school.
Yeah.
There's usually a piece that stands out for them,
Yeah.
and they want to access that. And let's face it, they go because their friends will go there as well. And it's a good thing for them to go as a group, because Cape is small, right?
Yeah,
So their circle is quite small within the school day.
Mhm.
Right? So, in my experience, what I've seen is that they go as a small group and they get settled in. They learn how things work at the high school, and then they branch out and make new friendships.
Wow, that's very good. That's good. So how would one enroll, for example, to the school if they are new to the city?
Okay, so it's a first come, first serve. The first thing to do is to call our main office and express an interest in finding out about Cape. And that the front office will put that individual in touch with our principal, who will meet with the interested parents and make sure they understand what we are about, how we do things, how things work at the school level, what our focus is, what our program is all about, and so on, including fees and so on, because that's important. And then if they choose to enroll, they fill out a waiting list form. So then once we know how many of our students are staying, we know how many we can take for the new year. And we go by first come, first serve. First name on the waiting list gets a chance to come in.
So is it a private then?
No, it's a charter.
Oh,
So as a charter, it's part of the public system.
Yeah.
There are no tuition fees. We teach the Alberta curriculum. We have certificated teachers. We report to the same government that
by the
others
yeah.
report. But we're chartered. So what that means is that we have a particular program designed in particular ways to support a particular population. A program that is different from what is generally available elsewhere. So our program is an integrated, personalized program. So the teaching is holistic. All the branches of the curricula are tied together. So we have a block of humanities, and during that time, the students learn language and social in unison,
Yeah.
plus anything else that the teacher would like to inject into that: art, music, dance, technology projects, environmental issues, whatever else. Political systems, for one, are tied into that.
Mhm.
And then the sciences address the math and science, and again, just about anything that can fit into, such as health. They can do research projects, they can do surveys to generate the data, whether it be science, in the science area or humanities area, or whatever. So we have literally the day is split in two chunks, and somewhere in there we fit in the phys ed and the second language, and that's the integration piece. The personalized piece comes in with the way we program for each of the children. So when a student comes in September, whether they've been there for 10 years or 9 years or 8 years or are new, they are assessed through specific assessment tools by our educational psychologist. And then that information is put together with information from the previous school, parents, the children themselves participate in this process. The teachers at the school that are going to be teaching that student, the principal, and external services such as OT, PT, and counseling, and all the rest of it. And the program is developed for that child based on that child's particular needs at this point in time. And every child is dealt with that way.
Wow, that's a great model. That's very nice.
It is based on the principle and the belief that every person is unique.
Yeah.
And every person has strengths and weaknesses. And therefore, if we can find out what makes that person tick, how things work, and
You can
through
improve.
the assessments drill down to the real issue, not some of those that might be masking and hiding the issue,
Yeah.
then we can support that person to be the best person he or she can be.
No one is perfect unless that's the way that God created people.
Of course.
Nobody's perfect. So people who think they are perfect, they just either not sure what they're saying, or maybe they're not saying the right thing to say. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's the model is very nice. I think the model is. So how many schools such like Cape is in Medicine then?
One.
How many? One?
Just one in the whole of Canada.
Wow.
We were the first, one of the first 3 charter schools in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
The other provinces do not have charter schools. And we're the only one that offers this program
Through the whole country.
through the whole country, as far as I know.
Wow.
Definitely across Alberta.
Wow.
Each of the other charter schools have different focal points and different types of students, different programs. But we're the only ones
Okay, in these terms of uniqueness.
in terms of uniqueness. Right.
Okay, Mr. Shariq, what are the best things about being you? Tell us.
Well, my teachers say I'm modest and humble, but I don't really describe myself that often, so I don't really know how to describe myself.
It's good to be humble, number one. That's one of the good character in life. Being humble means you will be a good listener. If you are not humble, then you feel superior. So it's always good to be humble. If you are talking to the Prime Minister Trudeau, or if you're talking to Honorable Bob, or if you're talking to the average person in town, you treat them all the same, right?
Yeah.
So that's uniqueness. You don't treat people based on something, right? So you treat them all the way you need to be treated, right? You like people to treat you as Shariq, you treat them the same, regardless of the position or wealth. They're human being like you, right? They were born 9 months. So what if you have 3 wishes, what would you like to be?
Probably wealth for
Wealth?
one.
Okay,
Peace.
that's good. Okay, you have one more wish.
More wishes.
That's good. Peace is important, and wealth is good. Yeah. So, yeah, those are that's a very good wish, right? And also the most important is also happiness and health, right? So those are also things that you probably, but peace is very important in the world. So the science fair, and then you have the heritage fair, which is very much the same. The heritage fair also, will you have a judge, for example?
Yes.
Oh,
It's the same process. We have a Heritage Day for the school as a whole, but particularly for the little ones.
okay.
And so they get to do things like learn a native dancing, make bannock, or 1 year, for example, they were learning French Quebec songs
Mhm.
and playing the spoons.
Wow.
Those kinds of things. So we bring in speakers and we bring guests and set up stations, and they do activities that are related to culture. And we try and expose them to as many cultures, at least the ones that we have represented in our community. And then the older ones, the 4 through 9s, go through the process of being judged, same as science fair.
Wow. And then whoever wins, then will they be able to go to the provincial and
Right. So again, the person does not need to win in order to be invited to go to the next level. The only requirement is that their project be of quality,
okay.
and that they'll be willing to actually do a little extra work to make it a touch better.
Wow. Okay, that's that's neat. Okay, Mr. Shariq, would you rather give up TV or chocolate or friend? That's a tough question.
I'd probably give up TV because chocolate is like made out of a lot of stuff. Like it's in a lot of food. And TV, I can just like, I can substitute it with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, probably TV.
So you give up the TV. That's a good. Can you name one? Can you name one thing that scares you?
It's either suffocating or drowning because I don't like any of those.
Wow. Do you swim?
Oh yeah, I swim. I just don't like the thought of like drowning.
Who are your 3 best role models?
Probably my family, like my brother,
Mm-hmm.
my mom and dad.
Good. They're your role models. That's very good. That's a good role models, right? And also your teachers, right? And anyone else, right? Okay. If you could be anyone in the world for a day, who would it be and why?
Um,
Think.
Probably like someone like Bill Gates because he's a humanitarian and he's had a humble beginning. So
Wow, that's very good. That's very good. That's very impressive. Yeah. And you like to be a programmer, so he was same thing. So you never know. You might be the next Bill Gates. You never know, right? What would you like to do for a fun?
um, probably roller coasters because they like give you a sense of excitement. I'm like, yeah,
Oh, that's very
and they're
wonderful.
fun.
That's wonderful. So, Trace, uh, given the fact that you raised three children here, you have a, you know the value of education. You've been in school for a long time. Uh, what's your message to the audience? For example, the importance of education that you like to share with them. So,
Um, I look at education
especially
as
newcomers.
right as education as a set of life experiences,
Hmm.
where education is not just acquired through books by memorizing things. Hence the concept of the school as a lived learning experience. So education is fundamental for the growth of the individual
Okay.
and fundamental, as far as I'm concerned, to the development of the community as a whole. So acquiring a strong set of skills, and not just in the academic sense, but skills, the social skills, right? The emotional skills, right? Um, the, um, the personal strengths and skills that one requires to go through life, to be a well-adjusted individual that contributes to society as a whole, right? In positive ways to make things better, not just for themselves, but for everyone else. That's the value of education, as far as I'm concerned. At the end of my life, if I will get there,
There you go.
hopefully not soon.
Yeah.
I like to think back and look back and say, yeah, I've done a
Your
few
share.
things to make things, to try at least to try to make things better for, um, not just my immediate family, but those around me in the community. I'd like to hopefully be able to do that.
Well, I think you can, and I think you should probably think of writing a memoir
Not really.
that will help also generations to come of your story of coming immigrant and moving all these directions. I think that will live long time with your children, the other children, the grandchildren. But that's something that you might be able to think with the husband. But I think your wealth knowledge of that, I think, will help generations to come and will keep all the things that you mentioned in a rightful way of be able to learn from that perspective. And we hope you to live 100 and plus years. Thank you very much, Shariq. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having us.
As always, we're very honored to have you. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope you will join us next time. Until then, today we are airing from the city of Medicine Hat, the gas city. We hope you will join us next time. Until then, this is where the East meets the West. God bless you. Life is too short. Have a fun.